What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and yes, you did read that title correctly. I did wake up this morning and choose violence. Today we are going to be ranking the Sarah J. Maas books. I did an Instagram live a couple of days ago and somebody asked, when are we going to be doing more rankings? When are we going to be doing more top 10s? And the thing is that they're hard to come up with, but I was actually looking at my bookshelf that I was rearranging and I saw all the Sarah J. Maas books and I'm like, there's so many of them. And I definitely have favorites over others, so that's what we're gonna do here. And the reason I say I chose violence is because I know that the book community as a whole is kind of weird, right? And when it comes to Sarah J. Maas, like, you either love it or you hate it. I stay very far away from like the Throne of Glass or like the ACOTAR fandoms. I read my books in peace. I come on here and I tell you my opinion and then I just like peace out. So I brush up against it on TikTok. I know like the problems and like the issues that people have with Sarah J. Maas, but I really like her books. I think as she's written, similar to Rick Riordan, she's gotten better, and that the books that she's putting out now are like really good, and she's fixed a lot of problems that she's had in the past. And we've got like 13 books here, I think. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I personally, I do like all of them. I do recommend all of them. I think they're all great, but let's see how they stack up against each other, shall we? All right, so starting off strong with my bottom, my number 14 is A Court of Frost and Starlight. There's nothing wrong with this book. I think it's perfectly fine. It's nice and short, so there's not like a lot of problems to be had with it. As far as an epilogue to ACOTAR goes, I do think it does a good job, but I definitely think it's a better prologue for A Court of Silver Flames and probably for whatever we're going to be getting after that. I think it is a little bit fluffy, but for what it is, it's perfectly fine. Number 13 is going to go ahead and inject some chaos into this. It's Heir of Fire. Listen, I did not like this book the first time I read it. I actually almost was like, maybe I don't like Throne of Glass. Like maybe this series like isn't for me. And the reason is because I'm a Chaol stan. There, I said it. Go ahead and roast me. I say it all the time. I am a Chaol stan. And this book, like, Selena goes off, she's with the Fae, she's finally like learning how to become Aelin again, and like all of that is great. Like when I read it a second time, I'm like, yes, we really needed like all of that slowness and all of that, character building information that is in this book, but I do think it's slow, and I think what saves it is Manon and the Dragons, and that's my favorite part of the book. Number 12 is Queen of Shadows. Same reason I don't really like Heir of Fire. It's just a lot of Aelin and Rowan. Reading it again, I understand why she does the things that she does. I also understand why like we as the audience don't learn a lot of things because Aelin doesn't really share her plans all the time. But again, my favorite thing in this is Manon, the dragons, Dorian. I really like the ending. The final battle's really great, and it really does get you set up for the next book, which just so happens to be my number 11, Empire of Storms. These last three, really what it is it took me twice to really understand the books and to like really get into it. And I actually cried the second time I read Empire of Storms. Like the full force of it hit me, like really what was going on, like hit me a lot. But for some reason with those three, it just took me a lot to get out of it. And I think it's because I am a Chaol stan, and that gets rectified later on. Number 10 is A Court of Wings and Ruin. It's a perfectly fine finale. I am aware of the problematic element that is having smut during a battle, whatever. But I do like how this ended off. I think, page 666, Sarah J. Maas knew exactly what she was doing when she did that. But I mean, it's fine. It's a perfectly good finale. I like how things end off. But I especially like where things are going and how she's decided to continue on with the characters. Number 9 is Kingdom of Ash. Once again, really great finale. I actually like this finale more than A Court of Wings and Ruin. I just think it does such a really good job of tying everybody up. And this book really is like a journey. And I think the best way to read this is to just really take your time with it and just really soak it in, and don't try to plow through it or anything like that, because there's a lot happening here and you really kind of have to experience it. Number 8 is Crown of Midnight. I really like the first half of this book, and everybody knows where this is going. I guess I probably should have said, well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like halfway through the book, like a big thing happens, and then I was like, oh no. Which is like a heavy dose of angst, and I do think that this series kind of needed it because it changes the tone, it changes like where we're going, but like I've said, and I will continue to say it because it just makes people so angry, I am a Chaos stan, and yes, Chaol really messed up. Like, he did like a really bad, and I understand all that, but I really like the beginning of this book because it's just really cute. Number 7 is A Court of Silver Flames. I really enjoyed this. I think this honestly is one of the best that Sarah J. Maas has ever done. I wouldn't rank it as like one of my favorites, but it is definitely up there with one of my favorites. I think the stuff that she does with Nesta is absolutely outstanding. Like the way, like she's come so far. It's really, really amazing to see. I do think there's like 1 or 2 smut scenes too many in this book, but she does a really good job of like breaking the sexual tension, but then continuing that emotional tension until the very end, and I really appreciate that. Number 6 is the book that started it all, Throne of Glass. This is just a fun ride. It's a fun book. You remember when Throne of Glass was just about like Selena breaking into the castle and like she was gonna be the king's champion and they were doing all these quests and all that fun stuff. You remember when Throne of Glass used to just be fun and didn't like break your soul into a million pieces? Those were the days. Number 5 is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I feel like that's gonna anger a lot of people that I have put it up so high, but this book is so perfectly well contained. I don't like Tamlin either, but you have to admit that this book is so perfectly well contained. Like, things work out, like things are fine. Yes, I do prefer Mist and Fury, but when it comes to like reading books over and over, I just really like the way this one is paced. My number 4 is a book that I don't ever see anybody talk about, and that is Catwoman's Soulstealer. I love this book. This is spectacular. It's amazing. I don't ever see anybody mention it when they talk about Sarah J. Maas. I love Poison Ivy, I love Harley Quinn, and I love Catwoman, and this is the Gotham City Sirens that I have always wanted. It's amazing. It's great. I read this book for my birthday, and like honestly, like best birthday ever. It was just great. If you haven't picked it up, I don't know what your problem is. You don't have to have knowledge of the comics for this to be a fun book, because it just is what it is, and it's great. Number 3 is my favorite out of the Throne of Glass series, and that is Tower of Dawn. Like I have said, I am a Chaol stan, okay? And specifically, Chaol and Yrene are my favorite ship. Just, I don't know what it is about this book. It's him healing. Like, he heals, he learns how to forgive, he learns how to forgive himself. He works through all of his darkness, like with Yrene, like Yrene, the healer, she helps him, and like she plays a really big part when it comes to Kingdom of Ash, and I just really like everything this book does. Like, even Nezrin gets such an amazing arc in this book as well. I know this is not everybody's favorite. I know a lot of people don't like this one. I know a lot of people wish it was still a novella. I know a lot of people still wish you could skip it, but I think it is such a good break between Empire of Storms and Kingdom of Ash, and it really gears up for like a whole part of the story that you're gonna have in Kingdom of Ash, and I really love it. Number 2 is my favorite out of the ACOTAR series, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury. Yes, we all know her, we all love her, we all know why she's here. I remember reading this book for the first time, and it was just amazing. Like, this is another one where I really took my time with it and just really like soaked it all in. I think Sarah J. Maas is at her best when she's unpacking grief. And like, you see that in Silver Flames, you see that in this, you see that in Tower of Dawn, and it's amazing. I really love seeing it. And of course, like, who could ever forget the way this book ends? So that leaves my favorite book by Sarah J. Maas being House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City. I loved this. Personally, I do think this is the best book that Sarah J. Maas has ever written. I also know a lot of people don't like this book. I think it's paced really well. I like the first 50 pages. I know, call me crazy, but I really think Bryce like has such a full and fulfilling arc throughout this book. I like the way that it's paced. I like the mystery element of it. I love the last 200 pages. It's just so stressful, and I had to read it at work, and it was really emotional for me, but I really, really love it. I have no idea where this series is going. I don't know if we're switching perspectives. I don't know like what to expect from it at all, and that's kind of something that I love about it as well. Like, it's so different, but it also just feels really familiar, and I just really love it. So there you have it. That is my ranking of the Sarah J. Maas books. Go ahead and roast me all you want down in the comments down below, but I honestly would love to hear like, what is your favorite book by her? Like, what do you like about her books? Anything like that. And listen, I know I woke up today, I chose violence, but y'all asked for this. And if y'all have any other ideas about what you want me to rank, what you want me to do a top 10 on next, please let me know in the comments below. I am always looking for ideas for fun stuff that we can do on this channel. But that's gonna be everything I got for today. I will see you guys next time. Bye.